Have you ever wondered why so many people over 50 suddenly start losing strength in their legs? Why everyday things like climbing stairs, walking across the room, or even standing up from a chair begin to feel harder, shakier, less certain? The truth is, this doesn't happen overnight. Most people never see it coming until one day their legs don't feel like theirs anymore. And by then, it may already be too late. Now here's the part no one talks about. There are 5 common vitamins that millions of older Americans are taking every day, thinking they're doing something good for their bodies. But when used the wrong way or in the wrong combinations, those very same vitamins can slowly drain your leg strength, damage your nerves, and rob you of your balance. That means the very pills you take to stay healthy might be silently pushing you closer to needing a cane or even a wheelchair. This video will show you exactly which vitamins are causing the most harm, how to avoid the hidden traps most people fall into, and what you can do right now to protect your independence. And let me be clear, the most dangerous one is saved for last, because it's in almost every supplement on store shelves today. If you click away before the end, you may never find out what it is. You may never realize how close you are to the problem or how simple the solution actually is. So stay with me, because what you're about to learn could quite literally change how you walk, how you move, and how you live for the next 20, even 30 years. Now, let me ask you something else. How many pills do you take every morning? A multivitamin? Something for your joints? Maybe an energy booster or something for the bones? It's just part of the routine, right there next to the coffee and morning news. And why not? You've been told for years that vitamins are safe, natural, and necessary to stay healthy as you age. But here's what nobody tells you. Your body at 55 doesn't absorb nutrients the same way it did at 25. Your kidneys filter differently. Your muscles regenerate slower. Your nerves are more sensitive to imbalance, and the margin for error is smaller than ever. At the same time, the food you eat today doesn't nourish you the way it used to. Soil is depleted. Vegetables are mass-produced. Even fresh fruit can travel hundreds of miles before it hits your plate. So, like millions of others, you start relying on supplements. Not because you want to, but because you have to make up for the gap, to stay strong, to keep going. But here's the catch. Most people assume that if one vitamin is good, more must be better. And that's where things begin to go wrong. You see, supplements aren't candy. They're powerful tools. And just like any tool, if used the wrong way, they can break what they were meant to fix. In fact, studies now show that some of the most common supplements taken in the wrong doses or without proper balance can lead to muscle weakness, joint pain, nerve damage, even loss of mobility, not over months, but quietly over years. And it doesn't just affect your legs, it affects your freedom. Your ability to travel, to play with your grandkids, to stand tall and move confidently. It affects how you live. And so if you've ever wondered, why do my legs feel heavy lately? Why am I always tired even though I eat right? Why is my balance getting worse? You're not imagining things. You're not just getting old. Something deeper is happening. And what you do next could make all the difference. If you're still with me, you're about to discover the truth behind 5 vitamins that are quietly harming millions of people over 50. People just like you. And you'll learn exactly how to protect your body and take back control of your strength and your independence. Let's begin with the first one, perhaps the most misunderstood of them all. Before we move forward, something you absolutely need to know. Because if there's one vitamin that almost everyone believes is helping them, but could actually be working against them when taken the wrong way, it's this one. Vitamin D, it's called the sunshine vitamin, and for good reason. It supports strong bones, it boosts your immune system, and yes, it plays a major role in keeping your muscles functioning properly. So how could something so essential end up silently weakening your legs? Let me explain. Vitamin D doesn't work alone. In fact, it can't work properly without two other key nutrients, vitamin K2 and magnesium. You see, vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium. But here's the thing, calcium doesn't know where to go on its own. Without guidance, it can end up in the wrong places, like your joints, your arteries, or your soft tissues. And that's where the real trouble begins. Have you ever felt stiffness in your knees when you get out of bed? Tight calves after a short walk? Cramping in your legs, even though you've been doing everything right? You're not imagining it. These could be early signs that your body is mismanaging calcium, because your vitamin D is unbalanced. Researchers have now found that high doses of vitamin D without enough K2 and magnesium can muscle cramps, nerve sensitivity, loss of mobility, and even calcification in arteries and muscles. A major study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirmed that this imbalance can increase the risk of vascular calcification, cutting off proper blood flow to your legs and compromising muscle strength. So how much is too much? Well, many people take 4,000 IU of vitamin D or more each day, thinking more is better. But if you're not also taking K2 and magnesium, that dose might actually be hurting you. In fact, too much D3 without support can cause mineral imbalances, fatigue, and weakened neuromuscular function, especially in older adults. Here's how to fix it. For every 1,000 IU of vitamin D3, you need about 10 micrograms of vitamin K2. If you take 5,000 IU of D3, pair it with 50 micrograms of K2, and make sure you're getting enough magnesium ideally from foods like pumpkin seeds, spinach or almonds, or from supplements like magnesium glycinate or malate, which are easier on your digestive system. You don't need to stop taking vitamin D, but you do need to take it wisely, because when it's used properly, it can be one of the most powerful allies for aging well. When it's misused, it could be the first step in slowly losing your strength without you even realizing it. And if this surprised you, wait until you hear what calcium can do when it's taken the wrong way. Because for decades, calcium has been marketed as the key. But the truth behind it might completely change how you think about bone health and your legs. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about calcium. For decades, it's been praised as the ultimate nutrient for strong bones. It's in your orange juice, your morning cereal, your multivitamin. And if you're over 50, chances are someone's already told you you need more calcium to protect your bones. But what if I told you that this advice, as common as it is, could be leading millions of people down the wrong path? Here's what most people don't realize. Calcium doesn't just go straight to your bones. It needs help. It needs vitamin D to be absorbed. It needs vitamin K2 to guide it. It needs magnesium to keep it balanced. Without those co-nutrients, calcium can easily end up in the wrong places, like your joints, your arteries, or your soft tissues. And over time, that can lead to stiffness, cramps, numbness, reduced blood flow, and yes, increased leg pain and weakness. So if you've been taking calcium supplements, especially high doses, without paying attention to what it's paired with, you might be doing more harm than good. In fact, a 2010 study published in the British Medical Journal showed that calcium supplements taken alone actually increase the risk of heart attacks. Why? Because of improper calcium deposits where they don't belong. And more recently, the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that high-dose calcium supplementation didn't significantly reduce fracture risk in older adults, but was associated with muscle weakness and poorer mobility. So if calcium isn't being absorbed properly, if it's building up in the wrong places, it's not just failing to protect your bones. It's potentially robbing you of your ability to move. Now let's ask a bigger question. Where should you be getting your calcium from? Here's the truth. Your body is far better at handling calcium that comes from real food, because when calcium is part of a whole food, it's naturally packaged with other nutrients that help your body process and direct it safely. Some of the best calcium-rich foods for older adults include dark leafy greens like kale and bok choy, sardines and salmon with bones, tofu made with calcium sulfate, sesame seeds and almonds, broccoli and okra. These foods don't just give you calcium, they give it to you in a form your body understands. And they do it slowly in balanced doses, unlike supplements, which hit your system all at once. Now, to be clear, calcium supplements aren't evil, but they need to be used wisely with the proper co-nutrients and under medical guidance. Otherwise, that well-intentioned little white pill might be making it harder for you to walk, not easier. And if you think calcium is misunderstood, wait until we talk about vitamin A. Because unlike calcium or vitamin D, vitamin A doesn't leave your body easily. It builds up slowly, quietly, and over time, it can turn from helpful to harmful. Let's take a closer look. If calcium was a surprise, then vitamin A might shock you, because it doesn't act quickly. It doesn't come with obvious warning signs. It builds up slowly, silently, year after year, until one day it starts showing its true colors. Vitamin A is essential, we know that. It supports vision, immunity, and skin health. But here's the catch. It's fat-soluble, which means it stays in your body. Unlike water-soluble vitamins like B or C, which flush out easily, vitamin A stores itself in your liver and fat tissue, and it doesn't leave without a fight. Now imagine this. You take a multivitamin in the morning. Later you add a bone support capsule. At night, you take something for immune health, 3 separate products, all containing vitamin A. And before you know it, you've gone from supporting your health to overdosing it. The effects, they're not immediate. Real. Aching joints, weak muscles, fatigue, reduced bone density, and in the long term, a greater risk of fractures and mobility loss. One major review in the New England Journal of Medicine found that high levels of preformed vitamin A were strongly associated with decreased bone mineral density, especially in older adults. That means your healthy routine might be slowly draining the strength from your legs without you even knowing. And here's what makes it worse. Vitamin A toxicity doesn't go away overnight. Even when you stop taking it, it can take months to clear out of your system. That's why awareness is so important. The tolerable upper intake for adults is 10,000 IU per day, including all sources. But many people unknowingly exceed this by taking multiple supplements with overlapping ingredients. And if you're also getting vitamin A from fortified foods like cereals, dairy products, or energy bars, you could be going way over without realizing it. So what can you do? First, check your labels. Look for retinol, retinol acetate or retinol palmitate. These are forms of preformed vitamin A that can accumulate. Second, when in doubt, choose beta-carotene, the plant-based form of vitamin A. Your body converts only what it needs. It's safer, smarter, and far less likely to build up. Now I want you to pause for a moment. Ask yourself this honestly. When was the last time you really looked at what you're taking and why? Not just what the label says, but how each supplement works together or against each other. Because sometimes the greatest threat to your health isn't the disease you fear. It's the silent imbalance you don't see coming. And if that's been iron filtered, then what comes next is even more critical. Because up until now, we've talked about vitamins that work slowly over time. But the next one, it can affect your nerves, your muscles, your balance, and it can do it fast. Most people think it's safe because it's water-soluble. But in high doses, it can do real damage, and many don't even realize they're taking too much. That vitamin is B6. And if you leave now, you may never know how close you've come. Now let's talk about vitamin E. It's often seen as the protector, the antioxidant hero, the supplement people take to support the heart, fight aging or boost energy. And if you're over 50, you've probably been told at some point, take vitamin E, it helps prevent heart disease. But what if the form you're taking isn't helping at all? Here's the truth most people never hear. Not all vitamin E is the same. There's natural vitamin E like D-falcoforol or tocotrienols, and there's synthetic vitamin E, often labeled as D-alpha-tocopherol. That tiny DL makes all the difference, because studies show that synthetic vitamin E is absorbed differently, used differently, and in some cases can cause more harm than good, especially when taken in high doses. Have you ever felt muscle weakness for no clear reason? A lingering fatigue that doesn't go away with sleep? A kind of foggy sluggishness that makes even walking feel heavier than it should? It might not be your age. It might be your supplements. High doses of synthetic vitamin E have been linked to neuromuscular dysfunction, muscle weakness, increased risk of bleeding, and even higher all-cause mortality at doses above 400 IU per day. Yes, you heard that right. A meta-analysis of 19 clinical trials found that vitamin E doses above 400 IU daily were associated with an increased risk of death from all causes. That's not just alarming, it's heartbreaking, because people take vitamin E with good intentions, to feel better, to stay stronger, to protect themselves. But without knowing which form or how much, they might be hurting the very muscles they're trying to preserve. So what should you do? First, avoid D-alpha-tocopherol. If your supplement doesn't specify D-alpha or mixed tocopherols, chances are it's synthetic and less beneficial. Second, look for tocotrienols, the superior form of vitamin E, found in natural foods like red palm oil, rice bran oil, annatto seeds, and certain nuts. Tocotrienols offer powerful antioxidant benefits without the risks of synthetic overload. And finally, remember this. If you already eat a diet rich in nuts, seeds, and healthy plant oils, you may not need to supplement at all. Your food may already be doing the job, quietly, effectively, and safely. If you're not alone, because navigating vitamins in your 50s, 60s, and 70s, your body is changing. Your needs are changing. And unfortunately, the labels on the bottles rarely tell the full story. But that's why this video exists, to give you not just information, but clarity, not just warnings, but solutions. And now we're coming to the most important part, The final vitamin may be the most dangerous of all, because while the others take years to build up, this one can damage your nerves in a matter of weeks. It's a vitamin found in nearly every multivitamin, every stress relief or energy booster supplement. Most people think it's completely safe, but when the dose is too high, it can rob you of feeling, coordination, even the ability to walk. The vitamin is B6, and what you learn next may be the one thing that protects your future mobility the most. Of all the vitamins we've talked about today, this might be the one that shocks you the most, because it's not just in your supplement shelf. It's probably in the very multivitamin you trust most. The one labeled stress relief, energy support, immune booster, or simply B complex. And most people never give it a second thought. Vitamin B6. It's water soluble. It helps with mood, metabolism, brain function. It supports the nervous system until it doesn't. Because when the dose goes too high, especially over time, vitamin B6 can damage the very nerves it's supposed to protect. Let me be clear, B6 isn't dangerous in normal amounts. In fact, your body needs it. The recommended daily intake for adults over 50 is only 1.5 to 1.7 milligrams. But walk into any drugstore and you'll find products offering 50 mg, 100 mg, even 500 mg of B6 per serving. Why? Because it's cheap to produce and it makes the label look more powerful. But your body doesn't need that much. And your nerves, they definitely don't want it. What happens when you get too much? It starts with a tingle, a numbness in your feet, maybe a buzzing feeling in your calves, a strange sensation, like your legs have fallen asleep and won't wake up. Then it gets worse. Trouble walking, poor coordination, muscle weakness, loss of balance. It's called sensory neuropathy. And studies show that high doses of B6 taken over time can cause real, lasting nerve damage. In one study, even 50 mils daily for several months was enough to trigger symptoms in older adults. And the most terrifying part? Sometimes the symptoms don't go away. Even after you stop taking the supplement, the damage can linger. Now think about this. If you're taking a multivitamin, a B complex, an energy booster, and maybe even a mood support supplement, you might be getting B6 from 4 different sources without even realizing it. It's how people end up with toxic levels of a vitamin they thought was safe. So what can you do? Start checking your labels right now. Look at every supplement you take. Add up the total amount of B6 every milligram matters. If you're over 50, stick to under 20 ml per day, unless specifically directed by a healthcare provider. And prioritize real food sources instead. Bananas, chickpeas, salmon, potatoes. Your body knows how to handle those. And one last thing before we move into the most powerful part of this video. If you're supplementing with folic acid, vitamin B9, you must make sure you're also getting enough vitamin B12. Why? Because folic acid can mask the signs of a B12 deficiency. And a B12 deficiency can also lead to severe nerve damage, mobility loss, and even cognitive decline. This is critical, especially if you're over 60, when B12 absorption naturally decreases. So let me ask you, how many of your vitamins are truly helping you and how many are quietly hurting you? If that question made you pause, you're not alone and you're not powerless, because in the next chapter, we'll walk you through exactly how to restore the strength in your legs naturally, safely, and powerfully. This is where your comeback begins. Let's take a deep breath, because what we've talked about so far has been heavy. The hidden risks, the silent damage, the nutrients we thought were helping but weren't. But now we shift, because it's not just about what you need to avoid. It's about what you can start doing today to bring strength, balance and freedom back into your body. Step 1, move gently, move consistently. The fastest way to lose muscle is to stop using it. And the fastest way to rebuild it, especially in your legs, is to move every single day. You don't need a gym. You don't need equipment. You just need your own body and a little bit of space. Try this. Sit down and stand up from a chair 10 times, twice a day. Climb a few stairs, holding the railing for balance. Walk barefoot indoors for a few minutes each day to stimulate foot nerves and balance reflexes. Practice standing on one leg for 10 seconds at a time. These tiny routines reactivate the neuromuscular connection, the bridge between your brain and your legs. And over time, they bring strength back where it's been fading. Step 2. Thank your plate. Muscles aren't made of magic, they're made of protein, minerals, and real nutrients. So ask yourself, what's really on your plate? Aim for lean proteins like salmon, eggs, tofu, anti-inflammatory fats like olive oil, avocado, and walnuts, magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, spinach, calcium from real foods, sardines, bok choy, sesame seeds, and fiber from vegetables and berries to support gut health and nutrient absorption. And don't forget to stay hydrated. Dehydration leads to muscle cramps and fatigue faster than you think. Step 3, restore nerve health from the inside out. If your legs have felt weak, wobbly, or numb, this step is critical. Nerve healing takes time, but with the right support, it is possible. Here's what helps. Vitamin B12 in methylcobalamin form, easier to absorb, especially after 60. Magnesium glycinate or malate supports muscle relaxation and nerve conduction. Alpha lipoic acid, omega-3 fatty acids from fish oil or flaxseed to rebuild nerve membranes. Gentle massage or foam rolling to increase blood flow and reawaken nerve endings. And most importantly, sleep, because nerves repair best at night. Prioritize 7-9 hours of uninterrupted sleep, and if needed, create a nighttime ritual. Dim lights, magnesium tea, soft music, and no screens an hour before bed. Step 4, get sunlight on your skin. Just 15-20 minutes of morning sunlight, 2 or 3 times a week, can stimulate your body's natural vitamin D production, which helps not just bones, but muscles, balance, hormones, and sleep. If you can combine sunlight with gentle movement, like walking or gardening, you double the benefit. Step 5, stay consistent. Stay patient, stay hopeful. The road to strength isn't instant, but you've made it through the hardest part, understanding what went wrong. Now it's time to rebuild. Start with what you can do today. Repeat it tomorrow. And remember, progress is quiet but powerful, because at the end of the day, your legs aren't just for walking. They are your freedom, your independence, your ability to show up fully in your own life. And you deserve to walk into your next chapter strong, steady, and proud. If you're still here with me, I want to thank you, not just for watching, but for choosing to stay, because that tells me something powerful. You care about your body, you care about your freedom, you care about living not just longer, but better. And if this video has helped you understand something new, or see your health from a different angle, I want you to remember this: it's never too late to begin again. Your body is always listening, and with the right steps, healing is possible. So if you know someone, a spouse, a parent, a neighbor, who's starting to slow down or struggle with their balance, please consider sharing this video with them. Because sometimes all it takes is one small insight to change the next 10 years of someone's life. And if you found this helpful, I'd be so grateful if you'd take a moment to like this video. It helps us reach more people who need it. Subscribe to RealRoot Health for more gentle, science-backed guidance. And leave a comment below. Tell me what resonated most with you. Your story might help someone else feel less alone. And finally, if you're wondering what to do next, in our next video, we'll show you how to build your personal supplement routine after 50, safely, strategically, and in a way that honors the unique needs of your age and your body. So stay with us, because your journey isn't over. It's just getting stronger.